Our next speaker is Lisa Thrun. She is the state coordinator for Americans for Prosperity.
Wow, this is fantastic. I'm obviously too short for this. Is that better? It is so good to see so many people out here today. I'm not a good speaker. Let's say a year ago, I was where you were. And let me just tell you a little story about my husband and I. When we moved from our one house to another house, we changed our party affiliation from independent to Republican because we felt...
Talking to the microphone.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Just hold it.
Take it right out. Take it right out. There you go. There you go.
Is that better?
There you go.
You know, I like to move around anyway. I'm Lebanese. I got to move my hands. Anyway, when we moved from one place to another, we decided to change our party affiliation because we were not feeling we were being represented or we had a say in the primaries. We felt that the people that were making the choices on who we could vote for were not good choices, and we needed to participate. The first month we moved in, our precinct committeemen, these are the people in your communities that are making these decisions. These are people that could be, you could have that job, each one of us could have that job. He would come down and we would sit there for an hour arguing on the porch about the poor choices the Republican Party was making for me by his endorsements. And that would be an hour conversation, and he would end the conversation by saying, get involved. And then the next year, he came again, and we did the same thing. And he would say, get involved. But we couldn't. We have 3 kids. All 3 will be in college next week or next fall. We were busy. We couldn't do it. We didn't have time. But you know what? That went on for 7 years. And the last time it happened, we realized we needed to get involved. The Republican Party had 3 people to pick from. They picked a guy that was found with an intern as the person they were going to endorse. We knew then we needed to get involved. And you know what? He moved and went to Colorado. So that was the end of him. He had enough of that. But we realize now that we are part of the problem. Every one of us allowed this to happen to our country. We didn't realize it. We were busy trying to put food on the table for our family. We were trying to raise our families. We were trying to get jobs. And in Western New York, we know how difficult that could be. We may have had to move and relocate. But now we know that we have a job to do. And a year ago, we felt despair. How many of you felt despair when you saw your country going in the wrong direction? You had that sick feeling in your stomach. And after that despair, it turned into anger, and we started making those calls and writing those letters and going to those rallies. And now we're at the point where we know we are resolved. We are going to change this country back to its roots. We are going to have less government, less taxes, and we're going to follow the constitutional limits. And that is going to be a lifelong job because we were not paying attention for a very long time. I don't even know how to use it.
Pull your trigger and talk.
Oh, okay. Oh. Can you hear me now? Yes? No? Oh. Oh, I see. Okay, now? Yes? Better?
No.
Better? Okay, thanks. Anyway, where was I? I don't even remember anymore. We're resolved. Can you hear it? No, not any better than it was?
No.
It's about the same.
It's about the same? Okay. Sorry about that. I'll just put it closer to my mouth. Anyway, we were resolved then. We know that our children do not have a future if things keep going the way they are going. We know that they will have debt. They will not have the prosperity that we have had, that we have improved each generation. We have seen more success and more prosperity, but now not the way the government is spending, not the government of New York, not the government, our federal government. We used to tell our children, move, get out of New York, we'll follow you. But then we finally realized this past year that we have been taking a wrong turn for a very long period of time. And you know what? There is no place better for them to go anymore. Not with the federal government spending and making decisions that are not good in the interest of our children, in the interest of our prosperity, in the interest of our free markets that have given us the ability to do the things we can do, to be generous and everything else. We decided to go with Americans for Prosperity to their summit. And there we decided that this is something that we needed to do. We are an organization of 1 million people. And let me tell you, that's 300,000 more than in October when we first came. There's 14,000 members in the state of New York, and they are all grassroots people. They are all working towards one thing, and that is to return to less taxes, less government, and our constitutional limits. Now, why should you get involved? Well, I don't think I need to tell you. You are an educated group of people because you're here today. But what is your job now? It is not to go to another rally or just show up at rallies anymore. You need to do more, and we all have the responsibility and the duty to our country to do more. What is it that we can do? I've been to 5 different rallies. I've been down to D.C. 4 times, and you know what? They're not listening. I have been to Albany making those calls, saying you need to change, and they're not listening. So we need to learn how to make those changes, how to use our time. We only have so much time because we still do have to feed our family. We still have to make the bills. So we need to do, and everyone has an obligation to do this. One of the first steps you can do is sign up today for Cattaraugus County Tea Party's website, or for their email list. They'll be getting a website up early. You need to be connected. You need to know what is going on. They will keep you informed on new things that are coming up. How many of you know that the EPA or the Obama administration will probably not get a cap and trade in, but they are working very hard as we speak to get EPA regulations through that will be the same as the cap and trade, the same restraints. This is why we need to be in communication, this is why we need to be connected, and this is why we need to get our news from different sources than just the papers and the regular channels. Stay connected to these people here. They will help you in your group or in your communities to make some changes. Where does change start? Lots of times it'll start on the very beginning levels. You may need to get involved. You may need to step up to the plate and run for town council. You may need to have to do that because nobody else will do it, and we need better representation. The rest, we all have a part in this. The other part would be to support these candidates. And I might want to just backtrack and just tell you that Americans for Prosperity is a non-biased or non-partisan organization. But we do have 2 different aspects, and one is to advocate, and this is what we're doing now. We want to show you ways that you can help your community. There's some books over here, the taxpayer handbooks, action handbooks. It's a good place to start. Carl and Chris will have lots of activities for you. One of the biggest problems in your community is you don't just have bad representation, you have no representation. And that needs to be a big part of your push. And Americans for Prosperity will help you with that in trying to get the governor to put the special election, get a date for your special election. Now, other things you can do. You need to learn how to know the issues enough so that you can go and talk to people and inform people. I'm not talking about arguing. I'm not talking about people that are so way out there, you're wasting your time. You need to find those people that just aren't understanding. But if they understand that it's coming from their pocket and why so much of it's coming out, you need to be able to give them those answers. And you need to give them credible sources so that they can go back and look at that. I always say to people when I send things out, don't believe me and don't believe your government. Go and check it yourself. Here's the sources. We need it. We have them all online. We're very fortunate to have them. Now, the other thing that we need to do is make sure that we're constantly learning to do more. Some people are learning right now to be precinct committeemen. I'm not sure if they've been down in this area. They've been in other parts of the state. You need to get involved in your party.